Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today I have another great guest on. When you think about, what your business really needs, and you think about all these different areas and trying to pull it all together, one of the great resources that you can use is a business strategist. So we have a globally world-renowned business strategist on the show. So definitely stay tuned for the conversation and the great tips and insight that he's going to share. So without further ado, let me bring on my guest, Imdad. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Terrell. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely, my pleasure. And thank you for, I guess, with the time difference. What time is it in Bangladesh right now?
Well, it's 12 a.m.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Probably it's 12:05 now. Yeah.
Thank you for staying up late for the conversation. And without putting any delay, because I don't want to keep you up too much longer. Can you tell us a
No.
little bit about your background and kind of what led you to get into business strategy?
Okay, so actually, I am a finance grad from one of the reputed university over here in Bangladesh. So, although I studied finance, but I had a little bit of more interest in the core business world. Okay, so that's what actually kept me learn more about businesses, entrepreneurship, business development, and besides, since my very second year of university, I have been working as a corporate trainer, and I used to actually go out and teach people regarding soft skills like communication, public speaking, and other stuff like that. So that's what gave me a very good access to entrepreneurs and other business professionals with whom I actually go out and worked with. So this is how I got started in my career. In the beginning, I worked as an internal auditor for 3 years in one of the startup accounting firms over here. So that gave me another good exposure to businesses, to entrepreneurs, how what are the problems they face, like for real and with numbers. And gradually, I felt like if I have to go ahead and add the best value to my clients or to the entrepreneurs that I'm working with, the mostly what they suffer is into develop their businesses. That's the one area almost all the entrepreneurs actually suffer. So that from there, actually from accounting and finance, then I started shifting my focus to directly business development. And this is how you can say for the last 2.5 years, although very new in the business strategy stuffs. So I'm working with different entrepreneurs and different size of businesses over here in Bangladesh and across the globe as well. So that's how I got started with business strategy.
Nice, nice. One of the things that I'm curious about, so I have my own hypothesis about this, but
Yeah,
I want to hear your thoughts on it. Now,
sure,
when
sure.
you were going through the finance, kind of the accounting side of it, do you feel like they did a good job of helping you understand how do I apply this finance and accounting stuff to the actual business strategy?
Well, I believe yes, that's for like sure. Because you know mostly what entrepreneurs suffer with is that they cannot come up with the insight or the story that the number is trying to actually tell them. So, as an accounting guy or as a finance guy, this is the best job we can go out and do. And once we try to come up with some sort of a strategy, if we can come up with facts and figures, like if I talk about numbers, then it is more visible to the entrepreneurs, and they are like that's you can come up with stats that is already proven, or you can come up with something that okay fine, let's say I have come up with something that these are the xyz that you have to go out and do, and when they ask me why, then I can actually back up my thoughts with the figures, with the facts and figures. So I believe that yes, the accounting finance of course plays a good role, although mostly entrepreneurs, like the who are not actually from accounting and finance background, they don't like understand this stuff or understand the value of it. So that's what I actually believe. Now I would like to really ask about your thoughts as well, like you are a CPA, so please allow me us to know about your thoughts.
Yeah, so my perspective, I agree with you that the finance and the accounting, it definitely is. I mean, because without the business strategy, I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
you're just gonna have numbers on the paper. But it does help you put numbers so you can actually see this lawfully idea that you have. Like, okay, let's see, does it make
Yeah,
sense
yeah, yeah,
financially?
absolutely.
Now. Now, what I will say, what I've seen in, throughout the US and working with different entrepreneurs is that one of the challenges that a lot of them have had is finding an accountant or finding a finance person
Mhm.
who understands enough about business strategy to be able to translate the numbers and the strategy. It's almost like they speak two different languages and they don't know how to communicate to each other.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's real cool. Like all consultants I see over here in Bangladesh as well. By the way, I'm from Bangladesh, so what is happening that they are mostly like not like they are mostly focusing on qualitative stuff, not the quantitative stuff. But the beauty begins when you can actually mix them up. That's the beauty, because you can actually come up with something very confidently. You can go ahead and share, okay, fine, this is what I'm trying to suggest you, and these are the facts and figures behind it. Once you combine it up, then you can actually I believe that create the real impact. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Awesome. I love it. I mean, like I said, because you have the background of finance and you have the actual, exposure and the experience and the background of like how the strategy works, I think that gives you an amazing combination to provide that for people.
Yeah, I'm really very lucky for that I have it, and I'm trying to accumulate my knowledge, and I'm still like learning and working. So my actually works helps me a lot to go ahead and learn and actually serve the both.
Mhm. Gotcha. Now, I guess one of the things I'm curious about is throughout 2020, I mean, across the world, everybody's been experiencing so much change and
Yeah.
innovation has had to speed up. I mean, and for some industries like that, some of them were prepared for innovation, some of them kind of struggled. Like, what were you seeing in Bangladesh as you work with your different clients and how they adapted?
Well, truth be told, like for me, if I talk about like first myself, honestly speaking, the pandemic was a great lesson for myself as well. Because I never thought that something like this would come. Although I knew that yes, there were pandemics and other stuff like that, but still, like I would experience it so early in my career. Like I didn't expect it, so it was kind of eye-opening for me. Although I suffered for the first couple of months since we got started, our lockdown was announced by the government back in 26th of March in 2020. All right, so that's the thing. I also suffered for the first couple of months. If I talk about my clients, some of my clients survived well. Some of them did really very bad. Truth be told, like because one of my clients who were actually in the IT business and who's currently doing better enough. But what happened that they are actually dealing with the organizational management system of the school and colleges. So as long as the the pandemic broke out over here in Bangladesh since March, what happened that all the schools were shut down, all the colleges were shut down. So their revenue almost came down to zero. Okay, so they actually suffered out of it. But what I have seen that they were very empathetic towards their clients, towards their employees as well. So they are currently with some loans, and of course, our government actually went ahead and provided some loans for the businesses who were actually suffering. So this is how they went ahead and survived well. Now they're actually crawling back to their earlier position. And if I talk about like overall businesses over here in Bangladesh, there are some industries who did fairly good. There are some industries who survived, but there are some, mostly if I say the SMBs, the small and medium businesses, they actually suffer because what happens that they don't have they're not that structured. And what happens that as long as you are small enough and bank doesn't want to give you money because they are actually concerned whether you can actually go out and the businesses can go out and pay them back. So out of the crisis, although there were some packages for them, but still they actually suffered so much. But I believe coming at 2021 in the September, since we are already opening up, they are actually getting back to their earlier position. So they are doing fine now.
Gotcha, gotcha. And I've seen the same thing here in the U.S. And I'm curious, from your experience as a business strategist
Yeah.
of really helping businesses navigate so many different critical
Mhm.
areas. Are there some areas where you've seen like, hey, after going through the pandemic, this is kind of some lessons we learned. Hey, here are some permanent changes you probably need to make in your business if you're going to thrive going forward.
Yes, absolutely. Like if I want to name number one thing that I've experienced the most, that is actually your organizational culture. Okay, what is the culture that you actually go out and belong to? How your employees, like your real stakeholder, your first and foremost stakeholder you should be caring about, feels about you. Then moving forward, what actually, how much loyal your customers or your clients are towards your business. So that is totally dependent on your culture. Okay, so what happened, as soon as the COVID stuff actually broke out, most of the people, like almost all the industry, had to go out and go work from home. So how are we actually going ahead and treating our employees? How are we going ahead and taking care of our employees? This is what actually totally built on our actually culture. And I believe that there is, of course, a brand loyalty is something that our customers have to go out and prove. But what happened that this COVID-19 has actually proved to us that it doesn't really matter whatever industry you are in, doesn't really matter whatever company you are in. All you need to have always a crisis management strategy, which almost most of the companies don't have, and they never really felt like that they should be having this. All right, now at the time of crisis, how you're dealing with your employees and your other stakeholders, it actually shows a lot about your actually brand, or how you're treating them. It will shape the shape your brand value for the next, let's say, 10 years or whatever, I can say, for the rest of the company, rest of the time you actually run your company. Okay, I actually try to come up with an article titled "Why Companies Need to you know take care of their employees during this pandemic." And I try to share some of the stuffs from Elon Musk, from Mark Cuban, and from other business leaders as well, and try to share some of mine as well. So accumulating that, if I want to share with you that this is the time the company actually, the company who have the company who actually feels that the employees are their real brand ambassador, the employees are the one they really care, they had the great opportunity to go ahead and prove it. All right, and for the ones, like the one company that actually faked it, so they got, like, they got, like, opened up, they got exposed that, okay, fine, how much you actually go ahead and care about this. So I believe, yeah, it was really very critical for all the companies out there. So yeah.
Mhm. Gotcha. No, I think that's a great point. And, it brings up something interesting when you talked about, kind of your brand value for the long term and just like, taking care, because some businesses struggle connecting the dots between how is me taking care of my, me building the right culture. Like, how long is it going to take me to actually start
Exactly,
seeing those
exactly.
benefits? Or like, how long is the horizon for the benefits? Now, based
Absolutely.
on what you said, I would guess that, hey, this is a long-term brand value. But can you talk about that a little bit more?
100%, 100%. Because as long as you were, it actually shows either you are here for short term or actually long term. Because you know what, if you think of yourself, you're a long term player, then definitely all you have to do is you have to think beyond the current situation. Because, like, pandemic is here, but it's not here to stay forever. Okay, so you gotta think that what will, I always tell the employees who have lost their job out of this pandemic. I got a lot of friends, senior, junior, who actually lost their job out of this pandemic. So I always tell them that the next time you are facing an interview, do ask them, how did you deal with this pandemic? Okay,
Mhm.
so this is the one answer. Is the question, the answer to this one question can actually help you decide either you want to work for this company or not. So the ones who actually cares for their brand, they will definitely care for their employee. And if they really care for their employee, then they are gonna build a sustainable culture. And of course, their organizational culture is gonna be built on trust, value, and that will automatically help them, create a long-term brand. And now, if I want to give you some practical example, I don't know, Terrell, if you have heard of Asian Paints or not. What happened as soon as the pandemic broke out? What happened that they told all of their employees, your job is 100% secure, no problem with that. Even you are gonna get a raise during this pandemic. Even you are gonna have more bonuses during this pandemic. So what a, like, they were like a blast soon after the press broke out from the CFO of Asian Paint. What happened? Their stock prices started going up. Okay, within the next week, and so I believe that you can always like. I hope that our viewers and you can always like relate why actually it happened. Now, let me tell you what's the intrinsic value, but what are the, if I say, non-monetary value that they have got out of this. First of all, they have earned the trust of their investor. Secondly, which definitely has some sort of monetary value. And secondly, the kind of peer value that they have got. Their name were like all the social media, or everyone on social media, everyone on internet, everyone on print media or online media, whatever you say. So this is something that a couple of companies over here in Bangladesh has also replicated. They have also implemented, and I would like to call it a strategy, and a strategy for good. So this is a strategy for good. Yeah. So that's the thing.
Mhm. Oh, I absolutely love it. I mean, and it's one of those things that I've definitely learned that as, being in business myself is stretching the time horizon of how you think
Yeah.
to where
Yeah.
it's like, if you're a business owner and you're only thinking about like, hey, today and this week, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to make
Definitely.
the right decisions.
Of course, my friend. It's not gonna happen.
Mhm. Gotcha. So now, when it comes down to the way that you work with clients, can you talk a little bit about that? Like how you work with different clients and what types of clients that you work with through your services?
Okay, so as you see that as a business strategist, I like to consider myself as a business development specialist, and I love to work practically with my clients, not just with just consultancy. Okay, fine, go ahead and do this and that. Okay, I practically go ahead and work with them on the business development stuff. So once I name business development stuff, there are a lot of things. There's branding, marketing, sales, and other stuff like that. So moving forward, what I'm currently doing, if I want to specify some of the stuff, what I do, I help people with develop their sales process. That means currently how I'm doing it through social selling. Number one thing, I'm actually helping companies. And if I want to be very specific, like the clients I actually go ahead and work with, these are including in four industry. First of all, finance, then real estate, third accounting, and fourth training and development. Okay, because I believe that like training and development is a very important. At the same time, it whatever business you were in the developing business, and you are in the developing business of people. Because like I 100% agree with Jim Brown. I believe you already know Jim Brown. He was a like great philosopher, great business guy, great salesperson. I really love that guy so much. And what he says that we are not in the business of developing organization or in the business of developing businesses. We are in the business of developing people and then empower them to develop the businesses. So that's what I do. I should go out and help people. I try to empower them so that they can actually boost their sales through social selling. At the same time, out of this pandemic, what happened that there are a lot of companies who could not manage their brand out of treating their employees well, treating their customer well, treating their other stakeholders well. So I'm trying to help them with employee engagement. This is one of my second product, because you know what, at this moment no companies, almost every company is what they're trying to have, they're trying to decrease their marketing cost. Okay, that's the one thing they're trying to do. And how they go ahead and do their marketing, of course, they have a great resources that are actually their people. So if their people has good trust on the company, if they're engaging with their company, they can go out and do it. So this is what I'm trying to help the companies out of it. And another thing, if I would like to mention, that is actually employer branding. All right, because nowadays having and acquiring and retaining the top talent in your industry is really very tough, and almost all the companies are fighting out of the benefit plan, out of the culture and other stuff like that. So how do you go out and build a sustainable employer brand for your business? That's what I'm also trying to go out and help my client. So these are the facts, and of course I do it through different ways. There are if I say that the way I go out and do it, of course, I go out and discover what is their current state and what are the current need, where they want to go, and then I try to go out and build different programs for them, different strategy, and I personally work with them as well. So that's the one thing.
Awesome. I love it. So, where can
Oh, thank you,
people
man.
find you? How can they get in touch with you if they're interested in doing business with you?
Of course, like I'm very active on LinkedIn. If someone is interested to connect with me, feel free to reach out to me, search me online. on LinkedIn, MD Imdadul Islam, like the name you see on the screen. No problem with that. I'll be more than happy to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And then just for those that are watching, you know what? This is the awesome profile you can look for when you go on to LinkedIn. Now, one of the things that I also notice is, I mean, you're pretty active on LinkedIn. So what can people expect from the things that you post, the things that you share on LinkedIn?
All right. First of all, I offer actually different stuffs on LinkedIn, like regarding as you see that what I actually talk about. I talk about sales, business strategy, marketing, and personal development. This is what I'm actually interested in the most. And besides, you can see, some of the most. There are some companies who actually reach out to me for doing some brand promotion stuff for them. If you go to my activity, you will see that I sometimes I post for different companies product or services video. So I actually try to actually go out and help people by promoting their products and services. So yeah, this is one of the paid posts. Actually, this company paid me, and this is my personal post. And the next one actually goes like it's also a paid post. All right, so this is the brand promoting stuff that I'm currently actually going ahead and doing. And besides, I write different articles, blogs, so you can also learn from my or get insights from my blogs and articles.
Gotcha. Nice, nice. I love it. I love it. Well, before we wrap up, one final question I like to ask every guest that comes on is when you think
Sure.
about where you've been and you think about what your journey has looked like so far, what's two pieces of advice you would share with other business owners?
Well, honestly speaking, like the kind of guy I used to be when I was in school, I was very funky, no ambition, a little like nothing. I just wanted to live a life full of chilling with friends, and that's it. But moving forward, when I came to know that what should be the real purpose of my life, then I get to discover that actually whatever I have done, if I want to, give credit for all of this, that the one person would be my mom. All right, and she has sacrificed her whole life for me. Then I decided, okay, fine, now she has done her job, now it's my turn. So whatever I'm currently doing is just literally focusing on how I can actually help my mom feel proud of me. All right, that's the one thing people say, even that you are too business savvy, you always talk about sales, marketing, business, this other stuff like that, but actually these are not the thing that I'm currently doing just for money only. All right, I believe that this is a great way because it's actually my passion. I love working with entrepreneurs. I love building businesses, and that's why I go out and do it. And I believe that it's a great way to go out and make my mom feel proud. So, if I want to come up with a couple of pieces of advice, that would be number one, please try to build, like try to come up with your why you actually, why are you living, why are you doing what you're doing. So just clear your why first, and secondly, always keep an open mind and always be positive, because you never know what are the changes you're going to have, and you never know what are the blessings you are going to have in your life. Just be open up and keep and give your best, and I believe success will be yours, my friends.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being an amazing guest on the show.
I'm honored. Thank you
Definitely,
very much for having me again.
absolutely, absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like our content, be sure to follow us on social media. And if you want to see more of our exclusive content, you can subscribe and become a member on patreon.com/Business Talk Library. Hey, the Business Talk Library is the place where business makes sense.